Hello there, and welcome to Conversations with Ifeoluwa. Today we're talking about female genital mutilation and sexual health. I have two guests with me in the house today. Ayodeji Bello, a female genital mutilation advocate, and Dr. Caleb Ido, a gynecologist. Okay, how do we start? How do we start this conversation? And then say everything we need to say in such a short time. FGM, female genital mutilation. What should be the thing that should pop in everybody's mind? Like, what should be that thing everybody should know or picture or see when they are thinking FGM?
The perfect situation that paints female genital mutilation perfectly is seeing it as a form of disability. Yes, seeing it as a form of disability. Imagine you have a scar on your nose or on your hair. The reason why people don't really put into consideration the implications of female genital mutilation because it's in the private parts. Here, people with disability or with any form of injury actually go through a lot to protect it. So now imagine having it in such a place. So I think that should give an idea to anyone. Imagine being one-eyed or something. So I think that should give an idea to anyone trying to handle the issues of female genital mutilation with kids' glove. It's no joke. It's a very serious issue, and this is something that has really damaged lots of esteem of many women. It has really put them in a very vulnerable psychological state. So I don't think it is something. I tell people, if you don't know about FGM, just don't talk about it. Really? Because it's actually very deep, or you ask valid questions that would be responded to. Female genital mutilation is illegal in Nigeria. There's the VAP Act, that's the Violation Against Persons Prohibitions Act that was activated during President Goodluck Jonathan's regime, although it is yet to be domesticated in all states, but at least it is very valid. So it says that perpetrators of female genital mutilation are liable to 4 years imprisonment and or 200,000 naira fine. Then, for instance, Osun State, that has the highest prevalence of female genital mutilation, has state laws of more than 11 years old. So you can tell that ineffectiveness of our laws is one of the challenges that has hindered, the total abandonment of female genital mutilation in Nigeria. Circumcisers, they are referred to as the Ololas. And in the Southwest, in the olden days, they used to be a very prestigious, professionals. So some of the cutters do not want to abandon the practice because it's one of the things their forefathers handed over to them. So they say, okay, you want me to stop my father's job? My ancestors will not be happy with me. I have to keep the legacy going. So these are some of the issues, the challenges we have. These are some of the things that, is really is really frustrating our efforts to proceed positive behavioral changes in our communities. I was mutilated at a very tender age by my grandmom. I've got lots of women who do not enjoy sex and who do not even get wet. Even when their husband is cheating, they see it as, oh, thank God, someone is helping me out there. If you do not experience female genital mutilation, you may not be able to humanize the experience. So there are so many women living in denial, and that's why, as a survivor, I try to also encourage other survivors. In fact, you have survivors even saying that female genital mutilation is right because they want to transfer the aggression of the pain, or because they feel, okay, they did it to me, so why shouldn't I do it to someone else? So as a survivor, I was mutilated at a very tender age by my grandmom. I've been able to look beyond whatever psychological effects or whatever it has brought my way, and now I'm happily married and I have a son. So other survivors can also, get their life together and find a way to make themselves happy. Female genital mutilation causes a lot of things, infection, urinary tract infection, excessive bleeding, hemorrhage. It depends on the type of female genital mutilation that was practiced anyway.
I was trying to be careful, but I love the fact that you hit the nail on the head. I've had conversations with women whom I found out that, they've never experienced anything like
Orgasm.
stimulations, orgasm, getting wet, for example. They don't even know what all that feels like. Sex for them is just come, do, and go. It just hurts me, like, oh my goodness. I
I
understand if we're
understand.
trying
I
to walk through
understand.
issues, normal issues and stuff, at least you get stimulated and stuff. But when you don't even have those at all.
I've got lots of women who do not enjoy sex, who call for counseling, who do not even get wet, and then even when their husband is cheating, they see it as, oh, thank God, someone is helping me out there. So most women, when they even fight their husband, they are not even bothered about the cheating. It could be maybe the money the girl is taking. It's not even the fact that he's sleeping with her. So it's like someone is taking off some burden off you, and it shouldn't be so. This thing is meant to be enjoyed. Girls are born perfect and they should not be caught.
They close this narrow
Again.
opening again for her to recuperate from that childbirth, and they open it when she's supposed to have sex again. You can imagine. You see the UNICEF publication for this year. You notice that some of the pictorial depictions shows that female genital mutilation is a global problem.
Yes.
It's not a problem that is limited to Nigeria.
To Africa,
At
yes.
one point or the other, almost every human tribe has experienced female genital mutilation. And that is giving voice to the fact that at some point or the other, there has been some degree of systematic suppression of female sexuality globally.
Yes.
And for me, that is a lot of pain. Lending voice to that suppression of female sexuality is the theory of pains. Lending voice to that suppression of female sexuality is the theory of the fact that there's nothing like female orgasm, that there's nothing like female ejaculation. And
there were actually papers released proving or trying to prove that there's nothing like female orgasm.
That argument is still there in the corridors of science. It shows that this problem is not just cultural. Even if it was cultural, it's not just the Nigerian culture. Generally, there is a lot of evil done against women. I'm not a woman, but I believe that the dedication of my life is to live my life making women comfortable anyway. But when you look at it, over the years, we have suppressed women sexually, and that has to stop. I believe that if we can stop female genital mutilation, to a large extent, we can stop. You would see that it was after female genital mutilation has been significantly suppressed that you see women coming out to say that you can have sex liberally. Because up until recently, female sexuality has been attached to some money of some sort. You cannot have sex with a girl that you have not paid a dowry. What's the implication of that?
That's
the
right.
implication of that is that our genital organs becomes something of market value. And when you monetize something, you have to package it in a way that is acceptable to whoever is buying it. There's a tribe, I think in Sudan, they do what is very relation. What they do is they cut sides, they stitch them together. And at marriage, the day of marriage, they make a narrow incision for the husband to be able to achieve penetration. As soon as she is delivered, they close this narrow opening again for her to recuperate from that childbirth, and they open it when she's supposed to have sex again. You can imagine such gruesome acts against women. I remember one of the most annoying things I've seen about female genital mutilation. I had a woman in labor 2 years ago, and she's been in labor at home for 8 hours, and then she came to the hospital, and I wanted to examine her to see how far gone she was, and I realized that there was no opening there. The whole thing could not admit more than one finger. Of course, everywhere was matted together. I was shocked because I just kept imagining, wait, how did this woman get pregnant in the first place? But she's just a reflection of the women in our society. For them, sex is for procreation and not for pleasure. For them, sex is to satisfy their husband. And this is the cultural and psychological basis. This is the knowledge basis for which people have done a lot of. You say girls are promiscuous, so you want to cut their genitals. What are you doing to the boys? After all, the girls are not sleeping with themselves in their promiscuity.
I'm telling you.
I want to cut in there. I want to cut in there, please. You said something that I do not agree with.
From research, sex is a combination of pleasure and pain.
Pin there. I want to cut pin
Okay.
there, please. You pressed. You said something that I do not agree with,
Okay.
and I usually vehemently argue against it. There is no biological reason why sex should be a mixture of pain and pleasure. I've always argued that it can be painless, and yes, it can be painless, completely painless. I remember the first time I was to give a public lecture on sex can be painless. I had this argument with some of my senior colleagues who, as gynecologists, they withstood me and said, could it really be painless? And I was like, wait, you mean your wives have been enduring you with the pain? It can be painless.
There's some scholars, so to say, from your field. So they've actually released paper that discuss that even when you are in climax, even when you are in climax, there is a part, just a thing of, I don't know.
I understand that even as sex surgeons, there are still a lot of debate over whether it is completely painless or not. I stand for the school of thought that believe that it can be completely painless.
Okay, moving forward now, you as a sexual health expert, what can we say is the way forward? Because I know you've worked with a lot of women that have been circumcised, in that sense of it, mutilated.
Yes.
Let's just call it.
And it's the only way forward. The only way forward, first, is to ensure that no girl in this age and time is circumcised. And that is why we should stop at nothing until we achieve that setup. That when you circumcise a girl, you are giving her husband hell of a work to do to give her sexual pleasure. And that is why we need to ensure that women that have had female genital mutilation should be educated over and over again. Some of them will require counseling. Some of them will require therapies. Some of them will require instructions on how to still manage to get sexual pleasure, which is very possible. And that is what we should give attention to secondarily. But primarily, female genital mutilation has to come to an end. And now is the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Caleb. That was really, really expository. Is there any last word you would like to tell anyone that has gone through?
Yeah, okay. I think Dr. Caleb has said almost everything. But basically, I think we just need to keep intensifying our campaigns. We need to keep amplifying our voices. We shouldn't be threatened. We shouldn't be discouraged, because really, it can be frustrating. I've been campaigning against female genital mutilation for more than 7 years. And then imagine going into communities and people are still practicing. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? Am I really, does it really make sense? But one or two success stories that I gather keep fueling me up, one or two persons who say, thank you. If not for you, I would have been mutilated. Some girls we have rescued, some survivors we have counseled, who are now having their homes and all of that. So those little stories, gives me hope, to know that I'm actually on track. So we shouldn't be discouraged, and then we should just try to do everything in our capacity. If we really want to end FGM, we all need to work together as collaborators and not competitors, especially within the NGO sector. We need the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, and everybody can actually do something. You don't need to be a professional activist before you can speak up against female genital mutilation. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends, join conversations about it online and all of that. So those are basic ways. I think if we keep it up, I don't know how realistic 2030 would be, because according to the United Nations, we have a target to end FGM by 2030. I don't know how realistic it would be to end it in the next 10 years, but whatever it is, little drops of water makes an ocean. Everybody should just keep contributing their quota.
Thank you so much. That was profound. Dr. Caleb,
thank you too.
If you were to address anyone now going through, an adult, a woman, going through the mutilation and trying to figure it out, what would you say?
Well, if I was to talk to anyone that has had female genital mutilation, I will start by saying that you are not alone. Thankfully, there are a lot of other women that share your experience. And like I know that you have had female genital mutilation does not mean that there is no way to still have sexual pleasure. It may seem a bit more challenging, but it could be the beginning of getting to discover yourself even more, and you can come out with a more exciting experience. So seek help if you need to. talk to somebody today if you need to. There are a lot of experts that can help you out and still help you to maximize whatever is left. Interestingly, the commonest type of female genital mutilation in Nigeria is type 1, which is just removal in part or a whole of the clitoris. But that part that is called clitoris is what just seen on the external. It's less than 10% of the actual size of the clitoris. So women can still have pleasure regardless of female genital mutilation. Yeah, I know it can be challenging, but you are not alone, and it's not a challenge that you cannot surmount. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Caleb Ayodeji Bello. It's been an amazing time. It's been an amazing time this evening, despite the busy schedules and everything else. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of every woman out there and every young girl out there, thank you so, so much for taking out the time. Okay, it's a wrap this evening. Thank you so much.
Well, it's a wrap, but I